Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm all cute in my jammies this morning. I tag a couple people. Maybe not. Got my coffee in my ugly Christmas mug from last year. Give it just a minute or two. Probably nobody's up yet but me. But this morning I am going to show y'all how to do the Shiplap. And I left my cup in the house that I already have done. But I've got one painted white. We'll also do an epoxy method for those that are new to making tumblers. For me, I never did like doing Mod Podge or anything like that. The epoxy method was just the best. Also, there's a lot of people that know I sandblast my cups. So before my cups are painted, this is what they look like. So my husband bought me this big sandblast machine, and I use glass beads in it, and I have a big air compressor, and so I sandblast my cups. And as you can, I don't know if you can tell, but there's not, they're really well sanded before I do anything to them. So what we start with on the Shiplap is we have a cup that has been prepped, painted white, and we are going to use the Marabou alcohol ink in brown, and this is available through Glitter and Christ for You. So you can log on to the store and get that through Patty's store. And I just use little makeup brushes. Got them for real cheap off of Amazon. And so once you have your cup prepped, just drop some ink on there and kind of let it roll, and then take your brush and just go across your brush. Go across it with your brush. I don't know how good you can see it. I may have to stand up and do it like this. And then we're just going to do this all the way around. And you can let it roll, because you know when you do alcohol inks, the more you put on, you know, it may darken, it's going to darken up, and it's going to get lighter in some places, just like you do with the wood grain. So with the wood grain, you know, you go this way. With this, we're going to go across the cup instead of around. But I just put a drop or two and let it run, and then I'm just going to brush it on. And if you use something different, you know, to make your wood grain, you can use that. If you use the makeup brushes, or, I mean, the makeup sponges. I like the way these little cheap little makeup brushes work. You can buy those cheap ones, you know, like I think they're the ELF at like Walmart or CVS or something. But just put your drop or two, let it run. And you'll see, I mean, you know, Shiplap doesn't, wood grain doesn't have like, it just overlaps, you know. But what we're going to do is we're going to get this going around like this, and then I'll show y'all how to make the lines and stuff in it once we get all this on here. And if you want it darker or lighter, you know, you can have some 91% alcohol. If you want it lighter in some places, just add some alcohol to your brush and make it lighter. If you want it darker, just add a little bit more to that area. We're just, like I said, just going to go around as far down on the cup as you want. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. I know it's early. My husband's working a shutdown, so he gets up and goes to work about 3:30, and so I'm up. Nothing else to do, so I thought, well, I'll get on here and do this, and you know, always go back and watch it later. It's a good time for me to get up and get some stuff done. And you could use a different color if you wanted to instead of brown. I've seen some done with gray that I had actually thought about doing this with, but I thought, well, better just go ahead and do the brown just so everybody knows. But you could do just any color, whatever color you choose. But I think the gray's a really pretty color too. It just like a whitewash. Would be really nice. And like I said, you can go back, go back anywhere you want it a little bit darker, go back over it. Go down as far as you would like. I will finish this one up probably later this afternoon, because I want to let it sit before I do the water part. But we'll finish all the wood on it this morning. And like I said, I'm using the Marabou ink. For anybody that's just tuned in, I'm using the Marabou ink, which is available from Patty. She does have the whole line of the Marabou inks. And so now I'm going to just drop some on my brush because there's some places I just want it a little bit darker in some places. So I just dropped it on my brush, and I'm going to just kind of brush it back and forth. Be lighter in some places, darker in others. If you use the makeup sponges, that's fine. The brushes, the cotton swabs, whatever you use to do your wood grain, all that's fine. However you want to apply it. I do like using these. I bought, I think, 10 or 15 sets of makeup brushes at one point. I'd gotten them really cheap. I think $2 or $3 a set for, like, they were like 15 set makeup brushes. So I just use them for this. I very rarely wear makeup, and I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't getting dressed to do this. In my jammies. Now I'm just using the one color. If you wanted to use another color with it, you're welcome to do that. I'll go down just a little bit further. Now on the epoxy method cup, what I did was I did a white and black ombre on the cup because I'm going to use some of the opalescent glitters to show you the difference of what they look like on the different backgrounds, how they change colors. Alright, so I've got that. And I'm going to grab my scissors and let that dry for a minute. So what I have is, I just have some black electrical tape. So I'm going to cut some strips of black electrical tape. Make sure this is dry. And I'm going to lay them on here. And I'm going to leave a little gap in between the strips of tape. And I'm also going to offset them on the rows. So I'll leave a little gap on that one. And then I'll do the next one and I'll show you how I offset it. And this will give you your lines. So, if you can see, I've left the gap here and I've got it offset there. So I'm going to tape this up and then we'll go back and we'll take a thinner brush and go in between and make our darker lines on the wood. Short, but that's okay. Sorry, guess I ought to have it up there where you can see it. You can cut them longer, you can cut them shorter. I'm cutting them, I don't know, what, about 4 or 5 inches. I mean, you could always use vinyl and find a pattern, a wood floor pattern, and just put vinyl on it and then go over that with the alcohol ink and just leave the vinyl on there if you wanted to do that also. I'm sorry, this is a little bit tedious of a part here. Especially when my tape wants to stick together. Some of mine are going to be longer and some are going to be shorter. But but you can always go, you know, measure them out if you want, make them all even if you want. We've had wood floors, and we've had, you know, pieces that are, some pieces that are longer, some pieces that are shorter. But it's, you know, it's going to be your kind of personal preference, how you want it to look. You can make your, you know, make your distance between your pieces of tape. You can put a little bit bigger gap or a smaller gap in between if you'd like. You know, that's one of the things I like about cut making, is so much of it is personal preference of what you like, what your customer likes. I think that's one of the really awesome things about this craft, is not everybody has to do everything exactly the same. We can all have our own style. It can be similar, but it can be different. And that's what's so neat about this craft is it's just a matter of everybody's own personal style. Cut that one a little bit short, but fix it. Sorry about this part, guys. It's just a little tedious putting this tape on. Are there anybody that is in here? Is there any certain of the opalescent glitters that y'all would like to see on the black and white base? I think I have. If I don't have it, it would be unusual, but I think I have just about every single one of them. I thought about maybe doing a multicolor. Just put a couple of different ones on. Anybody got anything planned for this Saturday? I don't know. Almost there, almost there. I don't know if you have an academy close, but they have a pretty good sale at the one down the road from here. I say down the road. It's about 45 minutes from here. They have 50% off the clearance items. I went shopping yesterday. I didn't get much, but I sure do like their lodge socks and their house slippers. That's something I always can use. Hold on, and I got one more row, and then I'll show y'all an up-close picture again of what I got going. But I'm just putting for anybody that's maybe just tuned in, we've got the where we've painted the wood grain around the cup, and I'm putting the electrical tape on here so we can put the lines on. To make the lines in between the planks. I am just using the Marabou alcohol ink that Patty sells on her website. This one's the brown. You could use the gray. I have every color. You could use any color. I've thought about doing the gray and doing like a whitewash. I think that would be really pretty. A friend of mine's getting married in June, and she's doing a whitewash fence with like a country theme with sunflowers and red roses. And I thought that would make some really nice wedding tumblers for her and her gonna be new husband, her fiance. So I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna try, that combination next. And I will tell y'all, my planks aren't perfect, but if you've ever seen a wood floor, they're usually not. They're not all the same length or get this one cut. It's not going to cooperate with me. Sorry. Okay, so up close. You can see I left some gaps in between. So now I'm going to take my smaller brush. I'm just going to get me a little cup, and I'm going to drop some of the ink in there. Just a few drops. I'm going to take my smaller brush, and I'm going to go in between the lines. I'm going to just drop it on there. Let's see. Yeah, I think that works better. So I'm just going to put a drop or two in between the lines and encourage it to roll around there and get that darker line. In between where I put the tape. Might as well use what I dropped in the cup. This is just as what is working for me. If you want to use the brush, use the brush. This is where this seems to work for me. I like doing it this way. This seems really simple. Just putting a couple drops in each line, letting it roll around. Just putting that darker line in there. I didn't do this on the first one. I didn't think about putting the lines. It was an afterthought. Get my heat gun dried a little bit. Oh, that one's unplugged. So I have 3 stations. I have one over here that it doesn't get anything with glitter on it. I have one that where we're working at. And then I have one on the end that is mostly nothing but the glitter station. This one is like an extra, so that if I need an extra spot, if I need I do whatever on it. My husband said, I thought you weren't going to use glitter on that one. Well, sometimes I need a little bit more room for a little bit more glitter, so it gets glitter on it. But just take my little handy vacuum and vacuum the glitter up. Sorry guys if this is boring. I apologize. You can fast forward through it or okay. So now I'm going to peel my tape up. Get my tape pulled up. So we get this second one up, you should be able to see the lines. Let me grab my little blades here. It makes it a little bit easier to pull it up than me with no fingernails trying to get it. Just be careful not to dig into your paint if you do use something like this to pull it up. And I did pull up a little bit of the maybe I probably should have done a little bit different. I didn't tape the first one, so this is a little bit of a trial and error on this. But the good thing is it's alcohol ink. Just put a little bit on my brush and go back over it. Can you see the lines? About halfway through getting all the tape off. I'm sorry that some of these, you know, some of this is really tedious. Or really boring, I guess. Really boring to watch. I'm sorry. I haven't done any lives in a while, and I feel like I bore y'all to death. I'm sorry if I do. This one is, this process is really pretty. It's just not a whole lot of excitement in it. I apologize about that. I am going to go over a few spots where my tape pulled up. You may have a better option for tape than electrical tape, but I'm going to go over a few little areas here that where it kind of peeled it up. And honestly, you don't have to, because, I mean, with the wood, I mean, it's, you know, it's different colors anyways, so you would be fine. If it pulled up a little bit here or there, it would be okay. Excuse me. It would be alright. Let me just go over these one or two more spots. Hey Laura, I'm touching up these couple spots, and I'll show you what it looks like up close again. Then I don't know if you've been, I'm not sure who's been here the whole time. I've got a cup that I've done a white and black ombre on that I'm going to put some opalescent glitters on to kind of show, so people know. Number one, I do the epoxy method because we do have a lot of new people in the group, and they may or may not have any experience with doing tumblers, or may not know how to do that method. So gonna do that, and then show how the opalescent glitters are. I'm an early bird. I get out here sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning and work. I'm sure a lot of people are still asleep. So, can you see the... So, you see where we taped it off and did the lines? You could also take a little bitty brush. I had one over here. Let me see if I got... You could take one of these little bitty, I don't know if you can see how tiny the bristles are on that. And if you wanted, you could take and make you some little dots and make like nail heads where your slats come together. But I'll sit here and obsess over this one and keep finding little spots I want to touch up a little bit more, a little bit darker here or there. But let me do a couple of those so I can show y'all. So see how I did the little dots, make it look like you could take a little teeny tiny brush and do that all the way around all of them. But I'm gonna let this one dry, and we're gonna do a bubble cup this afternoon at some point. Not really sure what time. I'm gonna wait until Michelle is off work. And I lost my lid to this. And that's all I need is dried out alcohol ink. But I'll find it in a minute. So I'm going to mix up a little. I'm sorry that it's so quiet out here too, because I don't have a radio out here yet. And I forgot to turn my heater on last night, so it's cold out here, so my epoxy is cold. But is there any certain like opalescent colors anybody wants to see? Any of the colors? I'm thinking maybe let's do maybe the Rockin' Rainbow, since it's new. Let's put that one maybe. And I don't know. Somebody help me pick some colors. How about what's this? I'll just use that one. Trying to think of something, some of the colors that change over white and black base. How about IR baby blue? Try that one. I have so many. some cotton candy. Try some cotton candy. And one more. That might be good with it. How about some puffin stuff? I'll do those four. So I'm going to mix up some epoxy and get a sip of coffee. And then we'll, golly, I'm going to have to get it set up to where we can see here. I do have, got a cup, white at the top, black at the bottom. I'm gonna have to get y'all up here somewhere. I think you'll be able to see from there. Maybe far away. Gotta get a drink. I know some of the people that's been around for a while know I sandblast all my cups first. This is what they look like before I paint my cups. Everything's off of them. And of course I've touched this one, so I'm gonna have to clean it really good before I paint it again. So get these little, I don't use the silicone cups because I don't care for them all that much, but a lot of people do. So for the epoxy method, those of you that don't know how to do it, you need very, very, very little epoxy for the epoxy method. So I'm going to do about 2.5 of each A and B. If you have not invested in stainless stir sticks that Patty sells, get some. It cuts down, number one, it cuts down on your bubbles, on your little micro bubbles. Number two, I don't clean mine a lot of the times. I just take my little blade and just scrape it off, and everything comes right off of it. But the biggest thing for me is the bubbles. It really cuts down on the bubbles. And it's really cold in here, so it's gonna take me a minute to get this stirred up good. Now, I don't know if y'all have seen these little straw toppers. So this is the mold, and I put Deceived in the top. And then I think I did the rainbow. I think that's what I did. Rock and Rainbow in the bottom. Then once I pulled it out, I mixed some epoxy and put just a couple drops of red alcohol ink in it and filled in the paw print. And it is so cute. But they go on the end of the straws. Oh Lord, y'all failed. Oh, Miss Patty and Kevin are the best. I just love them to death. They take such good care of us. But these are so cute. I love all the little samples. I've made several cups just using the little sample packs. I have a stand, but it's on the other end. But mix this up. I have a drawer full of molds that I bought from her. I leave them. I get a couple out, set them out. I love the baseball diamond. It's the newest one that I just got. I've gotten so many requests for that. And I don't remember here a while back, somebody posted the cross, and I just had to have it. It's beautiful. And the one I didn't think I would like was the skull with the heart eyes. And I think that's the cutest one I've ever seen. And then the, and I don't think I have one out here made. So one of the things I've been doing with the, I've got a bear stuck to my cabinet. But what I've been doing with the bears and all the animals, so I've been taking them. This one's pretty cute. He's got some different color micas in him. And then I've been taking the babies and attaching them to them. Well, you can always come back and watch it, but you know how to do this. I hope you have a good day at work. Don't work too hard. But I'm going to get this mixed up, and then we're going to put these, got the white and the black base so we can see the difference in these colors. I've just got about 5 total milliliters of epoxy. I'll leave those cups on there. Grab a couple paper plates so I don't have to worry about dumping them each one until later. I probably will though, because I don't want to get them. So we're going to use Puffin Stuff, Rockin' Rainbow, Cotton Candy, and IR Baby Blue. These are all chunkies. Just to kind of see what the difference is on them between the black and the white, how they change colors. So I'm just going to put a thin base of epoxy on my cup. Now normally I don't use my whole hand. Get this cup on here good. I don't use my whole hand to put epoxy on a cup, but whenever I just do, whenever I'm doing the epoxy method, I do, because I just want to rub it in. I don't want to use a whole lot of epoxy. I just want to cover the cup good, but I don't want it just totally just way too much on there. You just want a thin layer, enough for the epoxy to stick. I mean, for the glitter to stick to the cup and for the cup to be covered. And I actually didn't use but half of what I poured. But it's hard to pour just 2.5 milliliters of, millimeters of epoxy. So I'm going to let it spin for just a second. I'm going to change my glove. And while that's spinning, because like I'm going to have a little bit, and I have this color out, I'm going to put a little bit in there. And I got a mold sitting here, so I'm not going to waste this. And it's not going to be enough to fill this up all the way, but what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pour this in here, and then I'll have some more later on from something else, and it may be enough for this one, for the cross. I love this cross. I don't know who posted this a couple weeks ago, posted that cross, but thank you. I had to run straight into the store, log straight in and buy this cross. I absolutely love it. I don't sell a lot of the keychains. People in this area just don't really buy that kind of stuff. But it's something it's just because I just do, you know, pretty much just use my leftover epoxy to make them. I try to include them just as a little gift with my cups whenever person buys them, and so I really like the little cross. It's enough to fill him up, so he's full. Okay, so we got the epoxy on there. Getting a drink of my coffee. And I'm just going to take my torch and I'm going to make a few quick passes over it just to heat it up just a little bit and get rid of some of the little bubbles in there. It took me about 1.5 years to buy a torch. I was scared to death of them. And it's been a game changer for me. It's just been amazing. I mean, my cups really didn't have bubbles in them before, but they really, now it's really able to get rid of them. I'm sorry, I'm taking these other cups off of this turner because alright, can y'all see it good? Trying to make sure. Sorry. Okay. So I think the first color I'm going to put on is, we're going to start with Puffin Stuff. And I'm just going to start at the top and kind of go at an angle. I think I'm going to just do two on there, and we'll see if we need to fill in some more. And like I said, one of the reasons why I did the ombre, the black and white ombre on this cup, is because I want to be able to, for y'all to be able to see the difference in how these glitters look on the two different bases. Especially for those that are new to tumbler making. It gives you the chance to see the difference. And this is also giving you a chance to see how to do the epoxy method. But you're just putting a thin layer, and then we're going to go and shake our glitters on. So I've got that on there, and then I'm just getting this shook on. I never was one for Mod Podge. Didn't like it from the beginning. Just was never ever comfortable with it. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Wasn't something I felt comfortable with. I didn't like the way my cups came out with it. So this to me is just the easiest. That was Cotton Candy, and this one is IR Baby Blue. Let's do Puffin Stuff, Cotton Candy, IR Baby Blue. Now with the chunkies, when you do the chunkies, one of the things with them is you want to be sure and tap them down. And I'm not going to do that until I get all of them on there. You're going to tap them down so that, I got an extra lid somewhere. you're going to tap them down so that you're not having to like just sand the mess out of this cup. This is one of the newest colors. This is the Rockin' Rainbow. Probably going to fill in a little bit, take that cotton candy and fill in a little bit more at the top with it. I'll look at it in a minute. We'll look at it and see where I need to fill in. I can see a couple places I need to fill in with this, where I missed at the top whenever I first went over it. I just use cheap old paper plates. Shakes off really easy for me. See a couple places at the top. I think I need to add a little bit more of the cotton candy. Bottom looks good. It's just, you know, with the white base on it, I just kind of hit that, shake, you know, get any excess off. Like I said, I'm just hitting it a second time, just making sure it's covered good. That's just a personal thing I like to do. If you think you've got it covered good the first time. Now with the fine, you'll be able to definitely tell whether or not you've got a good cover. If you're doing the epoxy method with fine glitter, if you put too much epoxy on there, it will look slick. And you don't want it to look slick. They'll call it, a lot of people call it oil slick. You don't want it to do that. If you've got that oil slick, you want to keep adding glitter to it until you get rid of that oil slick. You want to keep adding the glitter until you get to where it looks dry. That Rockin' Rainbow is pretty. Okay, so now I'm just going to take, I'm going to leave my plate under here, and I'm going to take and I'm going to tap this down. And the reason why I'm leaving my plate underneath here, because I have a jar that's Angelina's Custom Mix. And what it is it's all my, like any of my glitter that's overflow or that I've knocked off cups or stuff, or that's on my cabinet. Whenever I sweep it up, I put in a jar, and so it's just all my leftover, my mixture. But I'm just taking and I'm tapping this down because I don't want to have to sand this cup for days after I put my epoxy on it, my first layer over the glitter. So I'm just tapping these chunkies down, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the chunky with y'all. I can do a fine also, just to show you for the for the other, I've got another cup prep, so I can do it also. Not a problem at all. Just take me a second to paint it. But you just want to tap. You just want to tap those chunky glitters down, because I think I'm gonna put the Rockin' Rainbow on the bottom. No, I'm gonna put some puffin stuff on the bottom. I like the way that looks. The bottom's white, but so may have too much light here. Away from the light. So, as you can tell, did the black and white ombre, and I hope you can tell the difference in the color. Same glitter, but the difference of the top and the bottom. And that's, you know, with a lot of these opalescent glitters, that's what they do. I'll put this up here, and I will pick out, what do we have fines that do that? We could do Space Jewels, it's a fine. Let's see. I'm gonna put that in my mix. Does anybody have any questions? No, there's not but a couple of you here watching. Okay, well, I'm not gonna worry about doing that one. If anybody wants to see the epoxy method with the fine glitter, let me know. I can do that one. This evening we're gonna do a bubble cup, and the rest of the Shiplap. So we've got the wood grain on there, got the lines on. I'm gonna finish putting the nail heads on, and then we'll do the bottom this afternoon, and we'll get a zipper cup started, and we'll do a bubble cup. So maybe y'all can tune back in this afternoon. Thanks. Have a good day.